call the board meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good evening. Consideration of agenda items. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Hearing none, Mr. Chair, move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills.
Mr. Chair, I move the payment of the bills.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Payment of the bills in the amount of $138,636.90. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving along, Sheriff's Office. Scott.
Good afternoon again.
Hello.
Is that loud?
It seems fine. Maybe just lean
Okay.
forward a little bit.
All right, so I have two items on the agenda. First one is consider approval to purchase the following Sheriff's Office vehicles for 2020 with funds from the Sheriff's Office budget. Two 2020 Dodge Durangos via state bid from Dodge of Burnsville for $30,713 each. And one 2020 Dodge Ram 1500 special service vehicle from Dodge of Burnsville for $25,859. The Durangos will replace two 2016 Ford SUVs, and the Ram will replace a 2013 Ford SUV and a 2005 Ford F-150. One of the Ford SUVs will be transitioned to the jail as a transport vehicle, and the 2005 Ford F-150 will be moved to the county's fleet as discussed with Scott Grivna. Total purchase amount is $87,285 to Dodge of Burnsville via the Minnesota State bid. Sorry about that. Thought I had it down.
My kids call me all the time, too.
This one's a work phone, but
All right, any questions for Scott?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I guess the motion would be for one motion for both items A and B. Is
Yes.
that what I'm understanding?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Scott, the Dodge Ram 1500 special service vehicle is replacing a 2005 Ford F-150. Is that generally used for pulling equipment around, or?
correct. And whenever
Okay.
you need we have our SUVs, and if we need a vehicle that we can put more equipment in and move, bigger things around, there's generally not a lot of room in our patrol squads with all the equipment that they have
Okay.
in them if we have to move a lot of stuff.
And would it be set up similar to a squad vehicle in terms of computer and screening and?
Right, lights and the computer, but yeah.
Okay, all right. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the purchase of the two Dodge Durangos and one Dodge Ram 1500 for the purchase price of $87,285 from Dodge of Burnsville.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, item B, consider approval to purchase a 2020 Bobcat 3400 utility task vehicle, UTV, and a cab system through the Minnesota State bid from Clark Equipment Company, West Fargo, North Dakota, for a cost of $14,800 $89.27, with funds received from the auctioning of the 2 Rangers, which was just under $8,000, and the Sheriff's Office budget. The vehicle will be delivered to Llano Equipment, Norwood Young America, Minnesota, and will replace the 2 Polaris Rangers that were auctioned earlier this fall. It will be utilized by the Sheriff's Posse and Sheriff's Office as needed. The Sheriff's Office also received bids for similar Polaris and Yamaha UTVs, and this model was the lowest cost.
Any questions for Scott?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
My only question, and I thought we discussed this once before, why are you going from one, you're getting rid of 2 and going to 1, and I think what was your explanation for only needing 1? It escapes me, but I thought we had this conversation before.
Yeah, you would have, Chief Deputy Tim Langenfeld would have given you that explanation, so I don't have that explanation in front of me, but.
Well, I guess my ultimate question is, we're good with the 1 vehicle
Yeah, I believe
versus 2?
we're good. I think in the years past, when they were utilized more in the parks, I think 2, they were able to move around better with the 2, just with the number of posse and all that. Our posse numbers are down, and they're not utilizing them as much in the parks anymore, so the 1 is really sufficient, I believe, for.
And when you get into like Winstock or something, you lease
Yep.
a bunch then? I mean, besides what, it doesn't pay to have a stock of 4-wheelers just for 1 or 2 events?
Right, and Winstock, usually they provide, the ATVs, the 4
Sure.
quad runners for us. They tend to get a little muddy during that time, where this one is an enclosed cab, so, yeah, that's the reason.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. What are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
IT. Hi, Matt.
Good evening. Here to request to consider approval to purchase 200 additional virtual private network VPN licenses from Fireverse of Minneapolis, Minnesota for teleworking and vendor support for a cost of $6,382 with funds from the information technology budget. VPN is a technology that provides secure connectivity for users or vendors that need to connect to the county network from off-site. The county utilizes VPN to provide secure access for employee portal, teleworking, and remote vendor support.
Seems pretty straightforward. Any questions? Sheila, anything to add?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. Matt and I have discussed this several times over, and I have been using the VPN technology to make sure that I'm familiar with it as well. It does increase the efficiency of working mobile, for sure. Usually I would work out of Citrix if I'm working mobile, and it saves me a lot of time. And I also have all of the functionality of my normal desktop and file access when I use VPN. So even my staff, I would prefer them to have this. We are using the capacity of the license right now, so we have no other choice than to keep buying more. But if you buy the package,
Correct. We either need to purchase this or Citrix licenses, and this is actually less expensive than purchasing additional Citrix licenses.
Okay.
that's
Mr.
good.
Chair.
Yes, Rob.
Matt, thank you for the information. This is 200 additional licenses. Do you know how many licenses we currently hold for a VPN?
We have 50 licenses currently,
Okay.
and we are actually utilizing all of them today.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We also, Mr. Chair, we also talked about, are we using them all at the same time? Because you could have, essentially, you could have more than 50 people using
Correct.
50 licenses as long as they're not using them at the same time. So Matt did start watching peak times and usage, and we are utilizing all of the license on a normal basis or on a regular basis. So we will need to purchase additional. And if Citrix is more expensive, that's kind of hard to believe because this is a lot nicer to use, so that's good news as well.
Okay, any more questions?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt.
Julie, I'm happy you made it. Sounds like you had some car trouble, and I'm sorry about that, but
Well, I'm hoping it's just a dead battery in the key fob. I found a little trick in there, so yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
all right. So if you're ready,
I hope I'm ready.
It's your turn.
We'll find out.
Okay, very good.
Good afternoon. I guess I should start there. We have several contracts here for Health and Human Services that I'm here to ask for your approval of. The first one is the Minnesota Family Investment Program's Biennial Service Agreement. We do this every year between McLeod County and the Department of Human Services to receive MFIP funding allocation from the federal government.
All right, we've, just so everybody knows, we've reviewed these at our Health and Human Services Committee. They've also been reviewed by administration, correct?
Yes.
All right, so if any board has any questions, please let Julie know, and then we can go forward.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I would move to approve this MFIP biennial service agreement.
motion by Commissioner Polmeyer, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B.
All right, this is the Joint Powers Board Agreement for Supporting Hands Nurse-Family Partnership. We sit on this board. It's an update to reflect the current practices that they have, which is removing term limits for the board members. There were a couple of other small technical changes as well, but the main thing that happened here was the removal of term limits.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Joint Powers Board Agreement as amended for the Supporting Hands Nurse Family Partnership.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer, any discussion?
Mr. Chair, or Julie, can you just tell us who were on the Joint Powers Board with this? Or do you know?
You mean the other counties that are
Yes.
involved? Oh, gosh, off the top of my head, I don't know,
But
but I
Ron
can
does.
certainly get you that
Mr. Chair.
information.
There
Is it
is
on
one-
the-
I have them if you need.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Sheila.
they're in the,
I'm sorry. Do you need the list?
Go ahead, Sheila.
Big Stone, Douglas, Candy, Ojai, Lincoln, McLeod, Murray, Pope, Renville, Stevens, and Travers. There's no way she could remember that.
Okay, thank you.
there's, actually,
There are 20
there's a second
counties.
column of those, so it's also Chippewa,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Grant.
it's right under here.
Yeah.
Chippewa, Grant, Lackaparle, Lyon, Meeker, Pipestone, Redwood, Rock, Swift, and Yellow Medicine.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Right, item C.
All right, item C is consider approval of the state county civil rights assurance of compliance agreement. This is coming from, again, the Department of Human Services, and they work in conjunction with the Department of Human Rights. This is to ensure that our county practices comply with federal and state civil rights laws because we operate federal programs. They did a recent audit by the United States Department of Agriculture for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and that requires county agencies to sign the updated 2019 through 2021 state-county civil rights assurance agreement. In order to be in compliance with the civil rights requirements, we need to sign this agreement and place it in our comprehensive civil rights plan by Friday, November 15th. County agency directors should sign this, and if it's possible, we should have a proxy provide the signature. We also need to note that the second paragraph of the assurance agreement contains language that requires county agencies to inform contractors and vendors in writing that they have these same civil right obligations as the counties because they also receive federal assistance. Contractors and vendors may use the language in this assurance agreement in their own contracts with the county agency. This is a federal requirement, and in coming months, state and federal representatives will be reviewing SNAP programs and checking in with agencies to confirm that we have this signed copy in, and that contractors and vendors have also been notified of their civil rights obligations.
Okay, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Excuse me, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Julie, this compliance with vendors and contractors, will it require any extra work on the part of your staff to make sure that all of those vendors are in compliance? And if you can help me understand what typically is a vendor or a contractor that would fall in this category?
Sure. Being new to the position, I haven't figured out quite yet if all of our contracts include that. I'll be working with Mr. Young. I'm guessing that they do, but I haven't got that verification just yet. I was hoping to do that in the coming weeks after we get some of these things a little bit more settled. But a contractor or vendor would be anybody that we purchase services from. One example would be the contract that's coming up with the central training, jobs and training.
Okay.
So those kinds of services.
So it's not the local grocery store where a SNAP card is swiped or anything like
Correct.
that? It's
Correct.
okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
we didn't get too many hands in the pot here, so,
Right.
thank you.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I just want to note that we did apply for an extension, that the Health and Human Services Office did apply for an extension since this was due in November 2019, so they are aware that we were going over this with our agenda tonight.
Yes.
Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And item D.
All right, our final contract this evening. This is an agreement to consider, or this is to consider approval of the agreement for the program year of 2020 to provide Minnesota Family Investment Program and diversionary work program services between McLeod County and the Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Services Incorporated. The cost is $177,725, and this is funds that come from our human services budget, and the accounts are noted. McLeod County Health and Human Services contracts yearly with Central Minnesota, and this is to administer and deliver the MFIP and DWP employment and training programs following the specifications and budget that we just talked about from the county's biennial agreement with DHS to operate our MFIP program.
All right. Any questions on item D?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a public hearing scheduled for 4:45. We're a little late, but we'll get started. Is there a motion to open the public hearing regarding County Ditch 63 redetermination of benefits?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is open. Purpose of the hearing, Mr. Young?
The purpose of the hearing is to consider the findings and order. They've been prepared by your auditor treasurer, and I've reviewed them. Is this the one with the issue, or is it the next one? Next one?
Next one.
Okay. So I would recommend that if it meets with your approval, that you approve this.
All right. Opportunity for public comment regarding County Ditch 63. Is there any public comment?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the findings and order for CD 63.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Polmeyer to approve the findings and order for County Ditch 63. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other business to come before this board for County Ditch 63? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing for County Ditch 63?
Move to close the public hearing on County Ditch 63, Mr.
Motion
Chair.
by Commissioner Szymanski, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Right back on schedule. Good job. Public hearing for County Ditch 64. Is there a motion to open that hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wright.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The public hearing for County Ditch 64 is now open. Purpose of the hearing, Mr. Young.
The purpose of the hearing is to review the findings and order that have been prepared by your auditor treasurer. I've reviewed them and they're appropriate. We did, however, receive information from the viewers that there's a correction of about $2,400 in benefits. So we are recommending that you not approve this as it is, but ask either that you reset a public hearing, or if you're comfortable with going ahead with a change tonight, that's fine too, but we're not going to have a final order for you tonight. The total amount of the change of benefits, according to what I understand, is about $2,400 out of total benefits of $2.5 million, so it's 1/10%. And perhaps you want to call on your viewers to give you an explanation.
Gentlemen, can some of you just give us your name, please, for the record? And
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Joe Jacobs, head lead viewer on the viewing team.
Lean in, please, to the microphone.
You bet. I'm Joe Jacobs. I'm the lead viewer from the viewing team. And during the recommendations at the last public meeting, we subsequently got information. We reviewed our report, and there was 3 acres that we decided that should be dropped. That the landowner discussed with us. So instead of 13 acres, that report should be dropped, or the recommendation should be dropped down to 10 acres. And like Mr. Young was stated, it's a relatively small item as far as the size of the scope of the project. And the individuals' percentages won't really be impacted. It's shifted from the landowner's component to the road component, but the difference on a $100,000 project would be about $5. So it's up to you how you want to proceed with that, but we essentially are reducing one of the landowners by 3 acres.
Mr. Chair, in the interest of full transparency, perhaps the best thing to do is to ask that we reset this or continue this public hearing to another date. Let the landowners know what the change is, and then if they have any comment, then they can come back here. Because right now, they don't know that they ought to appear. And the last thing that we want to do is have somebody think that somebody else got a benefit because they got to the viewers after the hearing. And
yeah, that makes sense to me. The next meeting is the 17th. Can this all be pulled off in 2 weeks?
no,
Okay,
no. So I think that you're looking after the first of the year.
all right. So Liz, do you have the calendar up? Can you please?
And you're not going to want to. You have an organizational meeting, I think, the first Tuesday.
Yeah, let's try to avoid that one, I think.
Probably the 21st. January.
21st of January. So Connie, any objection to that? Looks like she's got a lot of objections. She's coming to the microphone.
There isn't any possible way that it could be on the first meeting
This,
in January?
it can be. It's just the reorganization one, which drags on. There's a lot of going on that day. I'm okay with it if the rest of the board is.
That's fine. We,
Is
This-
that the
this-
7th?
we do have a meeting scheduled with this ditch system on the 20th of December. And do we have to mail out
For some
information to everybody, Mr. Young, but because we have set aside December 20th to have
Construction
construction meetings, maintenance meetings with 63 and 64.
You could certainly have this at the same time, but they aren't going to know about this issue until they actually get there then. And I think what you want to do is you want to make sure that everybody knows that there's a change, here's the change, here's the reason for the change. And I don't think that you can do that by the 20th.
Okay.
Unless you have Connie mail out individual notice to each of them, telling them who gets the benefit of the change. Because that's the real issue is, I mean, they're all going to be pointing fingers at whoever pays less now, and I have to pay a little bit more. But
I guess I'm open to, I just want to do what's best, so.
Yeah, same here.
I think that's what we all want to do.
Yep.
So if you want to do it on that first meeting in January, that's fine. We can sure talk about it at the 20th,
Okay.
so that everybody there at least is made aware.
All right, let's set it for the 7th at, I guess it doesn't matter, at 9:30.
And so
guess-
we're continuing?
Yeah, and that'll take a motion, right, Mike?
Yes.
Somebody help me out with that?
So moved, Mr. Chair, that we continue this hearing until January 7th, 9:30 a.m.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second that.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, anything else regarding this hearing, Mike?
No.
Mr. Chair?
We continued it. Yeah, Doug, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just a comment, this may seem cumbersome, but I'm more interested in getting it done right than approving something that's going to haunt us for years to come. So I apologize for the irregularities, but we'll get there. Thank you.
Yep. We should still close it, though, even though we
Yes.
continued it.
Well, no, you don't close it if you're continuing.
So we're okay?
Yep.
All right, and I think we can move on to Public Works.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
John. First item for us is to consider final acceptance and payment of $12,959.38 to Structural Specialties out of Hutchinson. They were the contractor for the Dakota Trail project. That was the project from County Road 1 over to Carver County. That project has been completed now satisfactorily, and we recommend final acceptance and payment. If you recall, that project received a legacy grant of $647,000. Total project cost, including engineering, construction and everything, was $707,965.69.
All right,
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of the final acceptance and payment to Structural Specialties for the Dakota Trail project.
motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And item B is another final acceptance and payment. This one is for $56,065.03 to Traffic Marking Services out of Maple Lake. That was for our SP 43070-013, which is our federal safety funds that funded a 6-inch edge line striping project. We don't need it contingent upon MnDOT Civil Rights Office. We did receive that, so final payment is recommended.
Any questions to John?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C, consider final acceptance and payment of $7,405.89 to Asphalt Preservation Company. They're out of Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. And that was for our annual seal coat project and some miscellaneous pavement marking. And those have been completed satisfactorily as well, and we recommend final acceptance and payment.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the payment to Asphalt Preservation Company.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item D is to consider approval of a MnDOT detour agreement 103-4485 and the corresponding resolution for that. This is for the use of our county state aid highway 115, otherwise known as Airport Road, around the south side of Hutchinson. They would like to utilize that as a detour for their Trunk Highway 15 downtown reconstruction project next summer. That agreement, the maximum obligation with that agreement from MnDOT is $63,600.44. And again, this is a standard detour agreement that MnDOT utilizes with a number of counties when they use our county roads and state aid roads. They pay us for the road life consumed, and then, or I should say the formula is to cover road life consumed and maintenance activities that would go along with it.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
John, does MnDOT look at our road system and they determine which one of our roads is best utilized for that detour? Is that how it's done?
They do. Ideally, they like to use their own system because then they don't have to pay the locals to use ours, but in this case, this was their best option. They did look at going east out to Trunk Highway 22 and up and around, and they didn't feel that was as feasible as going on this route. Being a lot of the traffic on 7 going east, it's kind of destined for the south end of Hutch too, so it makes sense to run around the bypass.
Bypass, okay. So any northbound traffic then will be coming eastbound on Highway 7 into Hutchinson and then turning north onto Highway 15 at the 7 and 15 intersection.
The detour northbound Highway 15 traffic will go west on 115,
Yes,
up to 7, east and down again.
But
correct.
if their destination is St. Cloud, they'll still come back to 7 and 15 intersection.
That's how the detour will be signed, yeah.
Okay.
I assume some will find their own ways of going east and
Sure.
up, just like others would too.
So it works.
Okay, I'm thinking of the heavy truck traffic and,
Correct,
you
yeah.
know, but what the impact would be locally here. So, thank you, John.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Is there a time period that they give, when is this going to be and how long is it supposed to last? Or is that open to weather and all that kind of thing, or?
It's open. The detour, I don't think I included the ballpark estimate, how they came up with the,
Yeah, I did see it in the packet, John, so.
oh, there it is. 185 days is what they're estimating, which I'm assuming is a very
6 months.
safe cushion for them to, it will likely go under that. I mean, potentially it could go above that a little bit. The $63,000 amount is some wiggle room on their end too, so.
Okay, it seems it's probably the best road for them, right? If we're being honest, when you
Yeah,
think
we've
about it.
hashed it back and forth, and it makes sense to utilize that, and I think the road can handle it.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the department resolution.
all right. Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item E is to consider approval of Resolution 19 CB 54. This is to transfer $500,000 from our state aid municipal account to our state aid regular, because these are construction accounts. The reason we do that is to avoid our county state aid municipal needs deduction. This is something that we've done regularly over the years. If we don't transfer the money, we lose that portion. There's certain stated rules that you can only carry certain balances forward, and you can transfer from between the accounts, and this is what we have to do so we don't take a deduction.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
John, in this municipal state aid construction fund, are we banking some money for future projects, or how would you describe this, the fund allocation going back and forth?
Yeah, so the municipal construction account is for our state aid roads that go through the smaller cities. And we do, that's what we would spend for projects such as Winston and so forth that we've been talking about. We can spend our regular account on the municipal roads as well, so it's, why these two accounts were split years ago, it's kind of one pot, but yet it isn't.
Okay.
So we're able to go back and forth between it too. But
Okay, all right. Thanks, John.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. County Administration calendars, Rich?
Okay, last meeting, we had a workshop after the meeting. I attended the UCAP meeting on Thursday night after that. Had a nice Thanksgiving in between there then, and yesterday it had JD 15 redetermination meeting, and this afternoon I had attended the Pack for Families CEO meeting in Wilmer, so brings me up to tonight.
Okay, after our last meeting, attended workshop. Also that evening, the McLeod County Extension Committee met where we did evaluations of our staff. Yeah, you were there too, Rich, yep. And also kind of did some upcoming planning. The rest of that was trying to get fall harvest wrapped up, which we finished in the snowstorm. Thank goodness for auto steer technology in the tractors, because we literally couldn't hardly see out the window on the last passes of the tillage. The other day attended Hutchinson Chamber of Commerce Small Business Saturday, which is an event to recognize local businesses and local economy. I thought that was a great event. And yesterday I met with various staff on preparations for tonight's meeting.
After the last meeting, the workshop that was mentioned, also our Health and Human Services meeting. Forgive me as I go through this. On the 21st, we had our Trailblazer meeting. It was actually wasn't a meeting, it was considered a workshop that was held here in Glencoe. We met, there was another Trailblazer special board meeting that was held on the 25th that unfortunately I was not able to attend. But that was also held, I think that one was in Glencoe also. Yesterday I attended the Joint Ditch 15 redetermination meeting. Also met in preparation for tonight's meeting with some staff yesterday, and met with the elected officials prior to this meeting today. So that's been my couple weeks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Since our last board meeting, we also attended the Health and Human Services Committee meeting over at the Social Services Building, and that was on the 19th. On the 21st, we had some negotiation session with one of our bargaining units here at the courthouse. On the 21st in the evening, I had the Pioneer Land Library Board Executive and Finance Committee meeting up in Wilmer, and after that I was done with meetings until tonight because I went to Atlanta for a few days. So.
Doug?
Okay, since our last meeting, I also attended the workshop after the meeting, the Social Services Board meeting. On the 20th, I had another meeting with DNR and the drainage authorities and MOD, trying to work on some legislation on trying to make an agreement with DNR on as-built and some different things with ditches. It's an ongoing, it's worse than a soap opera, but it keeps on going. I also had a Trailblazer meeting on the 21st. Along on the 26th, I had a Buffalo Creek Watershed meeting there. We're discussing some different ideas on our social services building drainage there on just how to get the water out of there. And I'm also working with that tile that runs into Glencoe, and whatever can go wrong seems to be going wrong. All the parties concerned are working well together, and I think we'll get there, but just exactly what direction to take and what to do is kind of up in the air right now. On the 27th, I had an HRA meeting, and on December 2nd, I had an SWCD board meeting, which I had another conference call next door, so I was kind of doing twin meetings, setting up policy. I had a conference call to set up policy for our upcoming AMC meeting in St. Cloud next week. So that brings us to today. Thank you.
All right, Sheila, anything to add?
No, Mr. Chair, thank
All
you.
right, you can take the administrative items then.
Item A, consider approval of grace period for the 2020 flexible reimbursement plans, including medical, dependent care, and limited type flexible spending accounts to allow for claims to be incurred through March 15, 2021. The runout period for all claims incurred January 1, 2020 through March 15, 2021 will be March 31st, 2021.
All right, any questions for Sheila on this?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I thought this was all set by the IRS. Do we still have to approve this, or is there something by misunderstanding this?
We bring this to the board every year. You have to approve it as a separate entity if you want to give people an extension to put their incurred claims in.
But the guidelines are drawn by IRS, is that correct?
We're still meeting the IRS guidelines by allowing them to submit their claims later than the end of the year.
I would move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger,
Second.
second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, consider approval of the payment of 2019 wellness credits to employees who qualified in 2019 for a cost of $15,660 with funds from the General Revenue Fund. There were 87 employees who qualified for the $180 wellness credit in 2019. This typically would be a decrease to the premiums for the following year. However, with the new medical insurance, this is no longer an option.
All right. Any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this reimbursement to the employees, is that at their discretion how they receive that, or will it be directed into an account for them? How will they receive this payment?
It goes through payroll.
Okay.
Do you mean, is it at their discretion where they distribute it from there?
Yeah, my thought was, could they just have it incorporated into their HSA plan, or could they?
Most people will.
They will, okay.
I don't know
Otherwise-
if it is required. I'd have to ask Clem, but I think we removed any of those requirements, especially because we don't know if they're already putting the limit on their own into those types of accounts. So she just shook her head from the audience, no. Most will put it in there, but they do not have to.
But the bottom line is, this is part of us switching plans, but we owe them this money.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
We owe them the money, plus that's, whether you like it or don't like it, that was the agreement we made with it.
Yep.
In order to stick to our word, this is what, I
Yep.
don't see any other way out of it. So I'd move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, consider approval of Resolution 19 CB51, reappointing Al Coughlin, Parks Superintendent, as McLeod County Agricultural Inspector. Al Coughlin's term currently expires on December 31, 2019. The agricultural inspector is appointed annually.
All right. I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item D, consider approval of Resolution 19 CB52, reappointing Ryan Freitag, SWCD Director, as McLeod County Drainage Inspector. Ryan Freitag's term currently expires on December 31, 2019. The Drainage Inspector is appointed annually as well.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item E, consider approval of Resolution 19 CB53, reappointing Jeff Roush as McLeod County Land Surveyor. Jeff Roush's term currently expires on December 31, 2019. The land surveyor is appointed every 4 years. I know there were some questions at our last meeting. We moved this. Mr. Roush has been our land surveyor since the 1990s, to the best of my knowledge.
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of Resolution 19 CB 53, appointing Jeff Roush as McLeod County Land Surveyor.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item F, consider approval to add the position of full-time sentenced to serve crew leader at a grade 160. Will Feltman is here tonight. He's our jail administrator. He joined us in case we have additional questions. I know that we've gone over a lot of this information at our workshops, which he and Chief Deputy Langenfeld and Sheriff Raymond have attended as well. This position is currently contracted through the Minnesota Department of Corrections. McLeod County would implement the position in-house under the supervision of the McLeod County Jail Administrator beginning approximately January 27, 2020. The Department of Corrections contract requires a 30-day notice of cancellation. I have discussed that with them and let them know that if this were approved tonight, that we would give them notice ahead of the 30 days. And upon approval, cancellation notice would be provided to them with the effective date of Friday, January 24th, 2020.
All right, let's slow down here a little bit. Will, if you want to come to the podium. This is, as Sheila mentioned, something that we've vetted through workshops. The county attorney's been involved. The judges have been brought in the loop on this. I think it's something, at least that I feel comfortable with, especially with the jail supervising it. That was my biggest hang up, as everybody knows who was going to administer this program, run this program. I am very satisfied with the direction it's going. We may have some costs that it's occurring. It is a new position, which is something that the county takes very seriously. We've been eliminating positions over the last year or two, but I think this is somewhere where we can gain some accountability and some efficiencies as we go through here. So Will, anything you want to add to that? And I'm sure the other commissioners have some things to say too.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. I think accountability is the biggest thing, and I think bringing it under our own roof, our own supervision, we're going to gain a lot of that. Helping out our inmates too, it gives us another option. Get a little more hands-on with the inmates that we have in our jail and maybe teach them some more skills and keep it that way. So.
All right. Does any of the board have any comments or questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I've been waiting a long time to be able to see this on our agenda. Although it is a new position, I think we need to make sure and mention, I think maybe you hinted to it, that the dollars in the past have been going to the state for an individual. And so the majority of this has already been paid in the past. Now we're having it under our umbrella, and I'm very glad to see it here. I think we'll see some very good things growing out of this, and thanks to Will and his staff for being able to work along the road to get this here tonight.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ron.
Will, and I know we've probably asked this question before, but does the Department of Corrections reimburse McLeod County for any of the sentence to service work that we would do if we were utilizing it completely within the county?
I don't believe, we pay
There's
them
none.
the whole fee. We don't get any reimbursement from them.
Okay. Okay.
Commissioner, to the best of my knowledge, so we've gone over all of the numbers, and for projected 2020, it was going to cost us in payments to the Minnesota Department of Corrections approximately $71,310, and our projected wages and benefits and vehicle costs to have the county oversee the supervisor is approximately $69,634. We are also waiting for the Department of Corrections to let us know if they want us to take over the vehicle lease or any of the tooling that they've already purchased. So there are some variables, but Clean Rollback has done a lot of work with the numbers with Scott Gribna, and it does come out to where we'd be about equal of what we're spending today.
All right. Thank you for that information.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I just echo what Commissioner Wright said. I've been sitting in on several of these meetings, and I'm excited to see this go forward. There's a real willingness with the staff to do something here, and a real concern for trying to train some of our inmates, if you will. But the main thing is there's been a lot of accountability concerns on getting people where they say they're going to be, and I'm really looking forward to have it all within our county, so thanks, Will.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I'll weigh in also in full support of this, thinking it's a much better way for us to see and get a more positive attitude with our sentence to serve people.
I wonder how the vote's going to go.
I'll make the motion to approve. I'll start there.
All right, motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Pohlmeyer. Is there any discussion? Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck, Will. Thank you. Okay, Sheila.
Thank you. As a note, with that being approved, you'll be receiving another request at our next meeting because we have asked Dwayne Ratke if he'd be interested in helping us out in the interim to help see where this position needs to go and let us know how the program worked before. And he has agreed to help us with that.
Oh,
So
good.
you'll see another personnel request at your next meeting.
Okay.
Item G, notification of truth and taxation meeting to be held tonight, December 3, 2019, at 6:00 p.m. here at the Glencoe City Center. H, notification of board workshop to be held on December 17, 2019, following the McLeod County Board meeting at the Glencoe City Center. Item I, notification of County Ditch 63 at 1:00 p.m. and County Ditch 64 at 2:00 p.m. informal meetings on Friday, December 20, 2019, to be held at the McLeod County North Complex Conference Room at 2391 Hennepin Avenue North in Glencoe, Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you. We will be going into closed session, discussion of the 2020 union negotiations and St. John's Lutheran Church daycare and preschool tax exemption status. Everybody will probably still be here afterwards, but any public forum or open forum or press relations right now? Mike, anything before we take a motion?
There very well may be action on one or both of the closed meeting items, so perhaps you want to say that you're going to reopen at about 10 to 6.
All right, we will plan on reopening the meeting at 5:50. All right?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, at this time, I would like to announce that I will not be seeking re-election in 2020 for the office of McLeod County Commissioner. At the conclusion of my current term, I will have spent 14 years in elected office, and I feel confident that in my district there are many willing and capable candidates who will come forward to represent District 1 in McLeod County. So at this time, that is my formal announcement of not seeking re-election in 2020.
Well, thank you for your service, Ron.
Thanks for your service, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
And you have to stay for the truth and taxation meeting.
No, I'm
okay?
staying for another year. You're not losing me yet.
All right.
I got 13 months to go.
All right. Well, thank you for your service. All right. I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Pohlmeyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Second? Motion carries. We will be staying right here.
Yes.